Here are my top 10 games of 2020. This was actually quite a hard list to put together because there were so many good games that I wanted to actually include in this year's list. But here we are, the top 10 that I've selected. First off is Ghost of Tsushima. This is an excellent open world adventure with a narrative driven focus to it. It really does kind of feel like Assassin's Creed, but set in this particular Japan region with a focus on samurai based combat and the samurai journey, where you are kind of fighting against your desires and needs against your honor and the system that you hold dear to you, with this great protagonist, this gorgeous environment that you get to explore, and this stunning experience that you get to witness as you go across this very lengthy and well-developed story with tons of side activities, things to see, things to do, and battles to have. It's quite an epic and great adventure. This is Wasteland 3 at number 9. This is a fantastic action game where you have this great narrative focus and this excellent sense of choice and determination and how you manage your put together squad of characters as you battle through this messed up story in this frozen wasteland that you've been summoned to. Things start out grim and you've got to build up a team in order to actually complete the task at hand. It's brutal, it's funny, it's twisted, and it's just really, really well done, and you have to get Major Tomcat because that's kind of awesome. But yeah, this is really, really neat. It's got a great element of turn-based combat to it, something that I'm typically not a fan of, but yeah, this game absolutely delivers. It's so brutal, it's so intense, it's got so many unique situations that you have to battle through. It's just a really well done game. I loved it. This is 8 Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So this is the latest entry in the Assassin's Creed series. It is an open world adventure where you get to kind of live the life of the Vikings, going to a brand new landmass in order to carve your own piece of history. This is, of course, forwarding the stories and the elements that were present within the last couple Assassin's Creed games. It'll feel very similar to Odyssey and Origins. It's just really brutal and well done, with many refinements and developments to really expand the scope of the series. There are some elements of sailing, but most of this takes place on land, where you're able to really enjoy next generation gaming with this particular title. It's just really well done. It's brutal. You get to pick your choice of character as you jump into it, male or female Ivor, and you just get to battle for hours and hours with so many side activities, main objectives. It's a game that really just goes on, and it's awesome. This is Call of Duty Warzone, the free-to-play battle royale spin-off of the Call of Duty series. I honestly did not expect to play this much of the game over the year. I absolutely love this experience. It's been a blast playing with random people online, doing streams with it, joining friends, enjoying the different events, and it's something that has actually kept my attention across the whole year. It's the Call of Duty gameplay and design and formula that you love and know, and it's thrown into this really exciting, expansive, large-scale map that you get to battle on. It's always fresh, there's always something new going on mode-wise and event-wise. It just keeps it fresh, it keeps it exciting. You get a good mix of infantry-based combat, using vehicles, grabbing upgraded classes, and despite there being so many Battle Royale games over the years, it does actually feel kind of fresh and exciting, and it's a blast every time I jump into it. It's just really well done and a really good time. This is Marvel's Avengers. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this one. If you look at the story elements of it, it's actually quite well done as a tale. You get to play as your favorite heroes from the Marvel Universe, or at least the core ones, and you get to see this exciting story as the team kind of, well, the band gets back together, really. And that's driven by Ms. Marvel here, who's a fantastic character, has a really interesting story arc and design within the game. Looking at this from a story perspective, this was actually quite well done. I liked the narrative at play here. And yeah, it's got some cool cooperative elements as well if you want to play with others. Now, I think the strongest element of it is the actual single-player component, but you know, there is some extra content for multiplayer. And of course, they're going to be working on expanding the scope of that as time goes on. But yeah, actually, if you're wanting to check out a pretty cool story within the Marvel Universe, I think they did a pretty good job of that element of the experience. And I really did have a good time with it. This is The Last of Us Part 2. This, of course, is one massive, epic, and beautiful tale. It really was well done. It's got really interesting perspectives and a scoped look at revenge in terms of really presenting two sides. I didn't quite like the latter half as much as I liked the first half, but it comes together in a really appealing, interesting, and dynamic way. It really is fantastic. It evolves storytelling in gaming to a massive extent. You really get to know the characters and the setup and the world, which is gorgeous. This is one insanely detailed and well-developed map. They absolutely did an amazing job creating this world that's like linear, but it has a sense of open world to it as you explore the scenes and the places. It really is quite magical and a great follow-up to the original title. Very well done. This is Doom Eternal. What an absolute delight this shooter is. They really absolutely nailed this sequel to the very well done reboot of the Doom series. It's so fast-paced, it's so intense. Every moment is stressful, but yet you want to keep pushing and going. You'll feel exhausted the whole way through, but you're like, okay, let's just keep on rolling. And I love the level design, the design of the game in general. The visuals are absolutely gorgeous and stunning. Every scene just pops with high levels of detail. Great weapons, cool enemies, a sense of discovery as you look within this really messed up Earth that's just kind of falling apart. And it goes even beyond that too in regards to the weird places that you eventually get to visit in this one. It's decently lengthy and it's intense, and by the end of it you'll feel very accomplished because this is an absolute delight. Such a well done title. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator number 3, perhaps higher than most people would expect, but this game is just simply wondrous. When you play it, you get to visit the entirety of the world, and it's pretty detailed. It's amazing. You can go to where you live, you can go to weird world locations and landmarks, and you can just fly anywhere, anytime. It's got real dynamic weather. It's got different times of days. You can customize things. You could do like passive multiplayer to see others flying about. It's got all the airports. It's got tons of different locations to visit, and it really is just amazing. Seriously, when you take off for that first time and you peek through the clouds and you see the sun, or if you're peeking through a storm and you see a beautiful rainbow, you can play this in a realistic way, you can play it in a more casual way. It is just an experience unlike anything I've had this year. It's seriously amazing and definitely worth checking out. So this is Animal Crossing New Horizons. So I place this very high because this is an amazing entry in Animal Crossing. It's perfect, it's expansive, there's seasonal content that keeps you going, and it's hit an audience unlike anything I've seen in gaming before. It really has hit that social kind of element of play perfectly. Tons of people check this out, people that normally wouldn't really even play games, and I've witnessed that firsthand. So I think this is quite a magical game. I think it's a very important game for the type of year this was, and I think it hit just the right mark the whole way through. Tons of content, whether you're decorating, collecting resources, meeting others. It's just wildly large in scale. It's beautifully designed. There's tons of interactivity, and it's just a complete delight. They absolutely hit the mark with this game. It's amazing and definitely worth checking out. A must-have Switch title. Finally, we finish off with Cyberpunk 2077. I loved it. It was fantastic. I played it on the Series X. I had a wonderful time. It ran quite smoothly. I didn't really have any issues. And it's just an insanely large-scale narrative adventure that you get to go on. You get to have all these cool enhancements, and it's a Cyberpunk game I've always dreamed of. I've always wanted a Cyberpunk game like this, and it just perfectly hits the mark. I've never seen a game of such scale and such detail and depth. You can stop in the middle of the road and just look up and be like in this expansive city that seems like goes on forever. And you can go inside places and battle, and you can get all these cool weapons to annihilate your opponents and level up and improve your character, and there's intense subplots with romance, and there's intense story elements, and you can unlock all different types of things, and it seems like the content is never ending. And it's amazing with so many different biomes and locations. It's just such a great game and so much fun. I really did enjoy playing it the whole way through. Now with that, those are my top 10 games of 2020. I'd be happy to hear what your list is, and of course debate any of the options that I selected, as I'm sure there'll be some that people do not agree with. Totally cool. Happy to discuss it further. Be sure to like the video so more people can check it out. Subscribing is cool too.